And further, we got a pretty good crowd here, so would everybody remember to mute or silence their cell phones, please? It's very important because if we've got people speaking, it's hard for the commissioners to hear as well as the audience. With that, please stand as Commissioner Doria will lead us in our invocation and Commissioner Cruz in our Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Lord, we're just so thankful at this time of year that you could send Jesus to save us from all the things and our sins, Lord. We just thank you so much for all your blessings that you've done for us. We ask that you would be with us at this meeting tonight and guide us and direct us and give us safe passage home. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Commissioners. It brings us to establish some quorum. We do have a quorum. We have 7 of 8. Approval of agenda. Nikki, do we have any changes to the agenda?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? If not, we will vote. Okay, that was unanimous. We have approval of minutes. The only ones we have on the docket is October 28th, the regular meeting. Joyce, I believe you had some changes in that?
2 corrections, and
Yes.
I've already given Nikki a copy, but on page 27, it says Virginia Tax, and it should be Virginia Tech. And then on page 31, it showed that I voted yay for an item, and I abstained on that item. And even in the previous statement, you had said that I abstained, so we needed to change that
Okay.
to an abstention.
Any other commissioners have any changes in the minutes? Seeing none, do I have a vote to approve with the changes that Joyce has brought forward?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, have a motion and a second to approve with the changes. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote. All right, that passes unanimously. Nick, yeah. Oh, okay, I thought you wanted to add something to say.
No,
Excuse me.
apologize.
All right, that brings us to the public comment period. Anybody, do we have anyone signed up, Nikki?
We do not.
Okay, I will close the public comment period and move us to old business. It would be the public hearing for Deborah Blake.
That is correct, Mr. Chairman. The first item of business is the public hearing for 24 SUP 351. Our applicant is Deborah Blake of 1467 Hunley Branch Road, Scottsville. The property on which the request is being made is the 1467 Hunley Branch Road, which is tax map 25 parcel 11. It's just under 69 acres. It is zoned A1. Her request for a special use permit to construct and operate a private grass airstrip and hangar. We do have the same conditions attached that were present at the introduction. Ms. Blake is here in the audience to address further questions and concerns.
Okay, thank you, Nikki. Before I open up the public hearing, do any of the commissioners have any questions for the applicant? All right, I'll now open up the public hearing. Do we have anyone signed up?
We do not, Mr. Chairman.
No one for that. All right, I'll close the public hearing and turn it back over to the commission. What is the flavor of the commission?
I move that we
Yes, ma'am.
send it to the Board of Supervisors.
All right, we have a motion to move this forward to the Board of Supervisors. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any further discussion on them?
Voting on the screen.
I'm sorry, Dan.
Take a motion. There we go.
Okay, all right. No further discussion, we'll take a vote. That passes unanimously. Ms. Blake, you'll be moved to the Board of Supervisors on January
13th.
13th. All right, Nikki, that brings us to the public hearing for the Gooden Family Trust.
Yes, so this is case 24 SUP 352. The applicant is the Gooden Family Trust. The property on which the request is being made is tax map 92, parcel 1. It's just over 319 acres. Then we have tax map 92, parcel 26 at 35.06 acres. Tax map 92, parcel 31 at 6.41 acres. This is all located at and near 1779 Shelton Store Road, Buckingham, in the Slate River Magisterial District. The applicant wishes to obtain a special use permit for the purpose of constructing and operating a country store, retail store for items including but not limited to general merchandise, EV stations, etc., and an event center. Events to include but not limited to glamping, dry campsites, nature trails, micro events such as community meetings, special programs, tours, etc., for up to 250 attendees. Their discussion last month was that 200 attendees, there was a limit of 10, and anything below 100, I believe, was unlimited for the property that the request was being made. So
Okay,
we do have Jacqueline Gooden C. in the audience to discuss questions.
okay. Thank you, Nick. Before any of the commissioners have any questions for the applicant prior to the public hearing? Okay, I will remind the commissioners that Commissioner Gooden will be abstaining on this application. I'll now open up the public hearing for this application. Do we have anyone signed up, Nikki?
We do. We have 5 individuals signed up, the first being Kenneth Weekly.
Okay. Please come forward, state your full name, address. You have 3 minutes. Yes, to the podium, sir. Thank you.
My name is Kenneth Weekly. I live in Culpeper, 10205 Allen Springs Road. I have the property down here that I bought for hunting about 4 years ago. And I'd like to know what this is going to impact on my hunting on my property because it backs up to my property. I mean, I think this place down here is really nice. I love the countryside here. I like the people and all. But I don't know how this is going to affect my hunting on my property there. And that's what I'd like to know. That's my biggest question, okay? Because I don't want to be restricted. I don't want my property to be walked on by other people that I don't know. And do I need to post signs up that says firearms in use, or what do I need to do here to make it safe? They're going to have hikers and all. I don't know if, I'm not all against it, to be honest with you. I don't think it's the right location. I think that it needs to be maybe a little closer to town or something. Or I don't know what your viewpoints of it is, but I'm totally against it. I'm going to be honest with you. I served my time for kiting country. My grandkids have, all of my family served. We bled on every battlefield there is to bleed on in this country, from Revolutionary War to War 1812, Vietnam, World War I, World War II. My son was shot up pretty bad in Afghanistan, and I just don't want to have any restrictions on my land about my hunting. That's the biggest thing. Can somebody please fill me in on that? What kind of restrictions would I have?
That question will probably be posed to the applicant. As a commission, we don't respond to your question, sir. It's the protocol we operate under.
Okay. I just want you to know that I am against it. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
you.
Next, we have Cush Jenkins, followed by Stephen Parker.
Good evening to the board. My name is Cush Jenkins. I am at 20361 Fallsway Terrace, Sterling, Virginia. I'm here to support my family's application. I'm fourth generation. First of all, I want to say thank you for your service. Yeah, you're dead on. I don't want to stop hunting either. I don't know what we're going to do. You, me, we, right? Because November's hunting season. I'm trying to get down there too.
Yep, y'all can help.
We had that
That's the
conversation later.
commission here, and
I just want to be in support of this thing that we're trying to do with the family. I've heard many in the community, some have reservations. one of the main reservations I've heard is about funding. My community loves me, and they sent me to do great things in the world. And I'm coming back to help. I went to Buckingham Primary. I played World Water baseball, right? I went Native Gators. So y'all know I'm talking way, way back. And me coming back home is just to help. And some folks think, well, it might be funded by some other folks. I want to make a public promise to everybody. That money's coming out of our pocket. And I've heard some great things, some very fantastic things about doing stuff, but they bigger than what we're talking about. When we talk about charging centers, we talk about 2. When we talk about parking, we just talk about, just enough parking where it used to be. It can't go on like it looks like that. And it leaves support that we would try to make it look great for our community. The road is named after Shelton Store Road. That is our legacy. I am your legacy. What did you do all of the sacrifice for? What did we do it for? To make that store look like that? The least you could do is say, maybe, but we need to do something with the store. And I would hope that's fantastic. But I think some of you think that you're going to get some no's from me. Like my cousin wrote in and he said, well, I don't want the parking lot to be on the left. Me neither. I don't know what you wrote in for. Some folks said, well, I think you're trying to get Dominion Power money. I said, I wish we was. But last I checked, I'm a professor with a doctorate. I can't afford to put a $3,000 power center up. I can't afford to just say, hey, we're going to buy a couple of things. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you, sir.
Stephen Parker.
He's on what?
Hi there. Good to be here tonight. Good to have an opportunity to speak. I was not aware of the proposal or request until I received the letter in the mail on December 9th. And that was sort of very short notice for me to make preparations to be here. And with regard to the proposal, on the page 3 of the overview, it says the farm's commitment to environmental preservation is evident in its efforts to maintain pristine forest and promote biodiversity. By fostering a connection between people and nature, the farm aims to inspire stewardship and appreciation for the land. There's nothing to dislike in that statement. And at face value, I'm in favor of what that statement is putting out there. However, I have some concerns about the scope of the proposal and the scope of the project. I'm located at 1640 Shelton Store Road, which is basically across the road from the Gooden Family Home Place. And just from observation, like I said, I just heard about this. It's on face value, it seems like it's going from 0 to 100 all at once without stages ramping up to everything that the proposal includes. Obviously, all my questions that I have cannot be answered in 3 minutes, but I just wanted to go through my questions, just read them, so the nature of my concern will be apparent. Regarding traffic and roadways, current roads are narrow, 2-lane country roads with no shoulder. They currently barely accommodate 2 full-size pickup trucks, so I'm concerned about traffic. With alcohol, will it be sold at the store on an ongoing basis or only at special events? And what kind of, when there are large events there where alcohol is sold, what kind of policing will be involved to ensure that intoxicated drivers aren't driving those narrow country roads? With the store, will it be operated on open on a daily basis to the general public? Will there be a paid parking lot? I think I just heard no, there will not be a paid parking lot, but that's a question of mine. And that's regarding the store. Regarding the EV stations, I was curious how many, 2, I think I just heard. that there was two. That was a question I have. Will it be open 24/7, the EV stations? And will there be paved parking related to them? It sounds like there might not be, but that wasn't clarified. Regarding infrastructure, I'm curious about lighting, for events that might be held at night. Will light poles and lighting be permanently erected to provide, safety dress for people? And that's what
Ms. Parker, would you state your full address for the record,
Store
please?
1640 Shelton Store Road. I own that property. I'm in the process of retiring here. My current permanent address is in North Carolina.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Adrian Jones, followed by Reverend Paul Wilson.
Good afternoon. My name is Adrian Jones. I live at 2266 Union Hill Road, which from the location we're talking about, as a crow flies, is about 100 yards. And so I do have some concerns, but also at the same time, I like the idea of bringing life to the community. It's been something that I think has been a good idea for some time. However, I wasn't exactly sure everything they were doing, so if it's okay, am I allowed to ask him now while I'm here?
Well, why don't you give us your concerns, and then we're going to ask the applicant to come up and
Okay,
answer some. So hopefully we'll get those answered for you, sir.
Okay, so one of the things I wanted to ask, if everything is allowed to go forward, when do you expect the project to get started? When do you expect completion? How much is the project? And I'm the cousin that was asking about the funding earlier since we brought it up. So at any rate, I am curious and concerned about those things. I have to say now, the gentleman brought up about the road being narrow. And as I was on my way here tonight, right in front of the store, a young fella hit my mirror. You know, he was driving a little, I felt, wildly, but he'd probably say the same thing about me. However, our mirrors hit each other. So is that something that the county would consider doing some work to the roads, widening the roads, assisting with the project with signs and lighting, things of those natures, should it be approved and move forward? With that being said, I yield the rest of my time. Thank you for
Thank you, sir.
the opportunity.
Reverend Paul Wilson.
Thank you. I'm Pastor Paul Wilson. I'm pastor of the Union Grove Baptist Church, which is on Shelton Store Road, which is right in front of the Gooden property. And I live in Amelia. My address is 12020 Bevels Bridge Road, Amelia. Most of my concerns have already been raised, and I'm very pleased to see that the Goodens are trying to do something with the property that their family has worked so hard. In so many ways, I support it, but many of the questions that some of the church members have already been answered. I've been on the phones for the last 2 days asking some questions about really what's going on. I just found out about it about 2 weeks ago. But I'm concerned also about the impact that this will have on the church. Our church is very small now, but I'm concerned about any impacts that will affect our church. I've served as pastor there I'm in my 25th year now of serving here in Buckingham County. So many of my questions have been answered. I was one of those two who was concerned about the financing of the project as well. And I think the Goodens are out of our church as well. And I'm just hoping that they will come and address the church in some some shape, fashion, or form to really alleviate some of the concerns that we might have. I think that's just about it. I just don't want to be left in the dark, but whatever they can do for the county would bring resource, whatever, to the county. I think we're pretty much for it, but we would just like some of our concerns answered and addressed in a more formal way. I will yield the rest of my time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That's all we have.
Mr. Chairman, we don't have anyone else signed up for the public hearing. I would like to just go back, I misspoke. This will be 6 events for 250 attendees. Anything less than that, there's no parameter set, which means
Correct.
that they could have unlimited, but it is 6, not 10 events. I apologize.
Well, let's,
At this time currently,
Okay.
as of last month's meeting.
all right, well, I'm gonna close the public hearing. and- Yes.
Before you do that, I have a number of emailed
Oh,
comments.
okay. You wanna go ahead? How many do you have, Nate?
Six, I have 6.
Do you feel like reading those, just for the record?
If you would like me to, I would be,
I think that would be appropriate.
the first one is from Paul and Martha Lewis of 2581 Howardsville Road, Buckingham, Virginia, and they state, "We are reaching out on behalf of the Gooden Family Trust and its members to seek your support in permitting agritourism events at the F.I. Shelton and Gooden Farm located at 1779 Shelton Store Road, Buckingham, Virginia. In 2023, the farm received official recognition as a Virginia Century Farm from the Commonwealth of Virginia's Department of Agriculture for its continuous agricultural operations since 1907. The members of the Gooden Family Trust, managed by 1907 Farms LLC, are now embarking on a strategic agritourism initiative. This project is poised to have significant economic and historical impacts on the Slate River District, Buckingham County, and even beyond. As third, fourth, and fifth generation descendants of F.I. Shelton and Gooden Farm, they, the Gooden Family Trust, kindly request your support in improving our agritourism events. Tourism in Buckingham County equals an economic boost to the local economy with the purchase by tourists of gas, food, overnight Airbnbs. Historic Buckingham brings over 1,500 to 2,000 attendees yearly to their 7 major events at the historic village and the 2 beautiful museums." Our next emailed comment is from the Buckingham African American Life and Historical Society. And it says, "To the members of the Buckingham Planning Commission, this is support for the Gooden family proposed agritourism development. On behalf of the Buckingham African American Life and History Society, this letter is in support of the Gooden family proposed agritourism project. Our organization stands in 100% support of the proposed events at the old F.I. Shelton store location. The store has been a part of the community for over a century. We support the fact that the descendants of F.I. Shelton are planning to reopen the facility and again make it an integral part of the Manio community. While the potential economic impact of an active agritourism business is great, the historical impact of the 5th generation of black landowners growing their ancestors' dream is greater. It is our greatest desire that this project will receive the full support of the Planning Commission. This will be another step in preserving the history and contributions of African Americans to the citizens of Buckingham County." This is submitted by the Buckingham African American Life and History Society, Charles W. White, Sr. as its president. The next comment is on the letterhead of Buckingham African American Life and History Society. Again, support for the Gooden family proposed agritourism development. On behalf of the Buckingham African American Life and History Society, this letter is in support of the Gooden family proposed agritourism project. Our organization stands in 100% support of the proposed events at the F.I. Shelton store location. The store has been a part of the community for over a century. We support the fact that the descendants of F.I. Shelton are planning to reopen the facility and again make it an integral part of the Manio community. While the potential economic impact of an active agritourism business is great, the historical impact of the 5th generation of black landowners growing their ancestors' dream is greater. It is our greatest desire that this project will receive the full support of the Planning Commission. This will be another step in preserving the history and contributions of African Americans in Buckingham County. On behalf of the members of the Buckingham African American Life and History Society, Joe Scruggs. Next, we have an email from Mr. Charles White of 3268 Shelton Store Road, Buckingham, Virginia. It states, "Dear Jacqueline, members of the Planning Commission, let me add my support to the Shelton Store project. Beginning in the fall of 1955, I was a frequent customer until its closing. The store was a valued part of the Union Grove and Union Hill neighborhood. I especially remember the store providing Santa Claus for my first 2 children. On that occasion, a surprising overnight snow prevented my wife and me from traveling to our local shopping area. We walked to Shelton's store and found 2 much-desired gifts. We were very fortunate to find Shelton stores open. And this is from Mr. Charles White, Sr. and his family. Next, I have an email from Alexis Jones at 2400 Welsh Tavern Way, Wake Forest, North Carolina. The letter states, "Greetings, my name is Alexis Jones. I am an adjacent property owner to Tax Map 92 Parcel 1, Tax Map 92 Parcel 26, and Tax Map 9231, located at 1779 Shelton Store Road, Buckingham, Virginia. My properties are Tax Map 92 Parcel 3 Lot 1 and Tax Map Section 92 Parcel 3 Lot 6. My address in Buckingham, Virginia is 2295 Union Hill Road, Buckingham, Virginia. Shelton Store Road intersects Union Hill Road and is directly adjacent to my home. I am not able to attend the public hearing scheduled for Monday, December 16, 2024 at 6 p.m. I had some procedural questions, so I called the zoning office as instructed in 2 letters I received dated December 5, 2024. I received the letters on Tuesday, December 10, 2024. My initial concern was the short period of time allowed to review and research the special use permit request. I left a voice message on Thursday, December 12, 2024, but never received a call back. I called back again on Friday, December 13, 2024, and I did not leave other messages since I had done so the day before. Again, I am writing because I am unable to attend the scheduled public hearing related to Case 24 SUP 352. I have no problem with the Country Retail Store Event Center. I am concerned about, and have shared my concern with Dr. Cush Jenkins, son of Jacqueline C., about the location for the parking lot as shared in the application for a special use permit, Appendix 4. SUGSP number 17 through 20, see attached, and they did submit a copy of that appendix. I would like it on the public record that the parking lot and EV charging stations will be moved away from the left-hand side of the current Shelton store to either the right side or to other available locations. I am concerned that the currently proposed parking lot location could result in the following: injury to the value of my home due to transient activity, loss of privacy, etc., lack of harmony with the natural environment directly across the street from my home as zoned agriculture A1. In summary, I believe Jacqueline C. made some excellent points in her presentation to the Planning Commission during the November 18th, 2024 meetings. I recognize the potential of this planned project. I would just like some consideration given to ensure that parking lot and EV stations are located away from the left-hand side of the Shelton store so that the nature of my personal home is not disrupted. If the proposed parking lot is relocated, we welcome the project. Respectfully submitted, Alexis G. Jones. And I have one more email, and this has been submitted by Jacqueline Gooden C. as farm manager, and it states, to members of the Buckingham County Planning Commission, I'm writing on behalf of the Gooden Family Trust and its members requesting your support in allowing agritourism events on the F.I. Shelton and Gooden Farm, 1779 Shelton Store Road, Buckingham, Virginia. In 2023, the F.I. Shelton and Gooden Farm was officially recognized as the Virginia Century Farm by the Commonwealth of Virginia's Department of Agriculture for continuous agricultural operations since its beginnings in 1907. The Gooden Family Trust members, under the management of 1907 Farms, LLC, are entering into a strategic agritourism plan. This plan will impact economically and historically the Slate River District, Buckingham County, and globally. The members of the Gooden Family Trust, third-generation descendants, fourth and fifth-generation descendants of F.I. Shelton and Gooden Farm, request your support in approving our request for agritourism events. Respectfully submitted, Jacqueline Gooden C., Farm Manager. And that is all I have
Okay,
for
thank you,
this
Nikki,
case. Thank you.
for reading those. All right, I'll close the public hearing now, and to see if you would come up from, we're going, commissioners probably have some questions for you, ma'am.
Good evening. I'm Jacqueline Gooden C., and I'm representing the Gooden Family Trust, and I'm definitely willing to address all questions, concerns, and to make sure that this project is not detrimental to Buckingham County and the Shelton Store Road community.
Thank you. I'm going to turn it down to the commissioners. Questions for the applicant? Yes, go ahead, Steve.
I would just like to ask, how big are the events going to be? How many people? I know we talked about it before, but how many people are you going to have coming in? And what I heard from this gentleman about the traffic impact, I don't see a statement. We don't have anything from VDOT covered yet. So if you'd elaborate on that a little.
Yes, sir, I will. The events are planned to be very small. In our last meeting, we talked about large events. We narrowed that, and in my notes and my vision, that we would only have a max of 250 people. And we said no more than 5 events. I think that needs to be corrected. 5 events per year, no more. But that does not mean that we will have 5 events. That's our limit if we wanted to have large events. There is a statement in the application about the roadways. I did contact VDOT, and the young man sent a statement, so that's in our application. I would like to address those concerns, because definitely it is a small road, and I want to address the concerns of the size and the frequency of these events. The size will be at a very minimum. The vision is not to have large groups of individuals to approach, be on our property at any point. First thing, how long do I have to speak? As long as okay.
Yes,
I actually have, I've been in education for about a little over 40 some years. And I was explaining, because I heard the size of the events, and I want to address that. I panic when I get a full roster of 24. So I will not expect anything to be over 24 people at any one time. Plus, if we have paid events, the events will be paid. So we can limit those to whatever number we would like to have, lower numbers to larger numbers. But definitely a 250 person event is not really something we're going for as part of, it will be celebration events, but it will not be, these are the main events. And definitely 5 would be a max at any one calendar year that we could go through. I want to address the gentleman from Culpeper that had a statement about the hunting season. We're very aware of the hunting season. We're very aware of people and their dogs crossing onto your property. Yeah, well, I'm just saying, crossing the property. So definitely, I'm not a hunter. No one on the generation levels that we have are really big hunters. So hunting season is a limited time. There will be enough notice that if there's something on the farm during hunting season, again, it's going to be a minimum of individuals attending, just a very small minimum. And definitely, we do allow hunting on our property from a contract that we have. They've been great stewards of our property over the years. This has been one relationship that we've had. Those individuals are very good at protecting our property and neighboring properties. They're not, okay. So I commend that particular hunting group, and definitely the hunting season is not really my season to be outdoors anyway. So, and again, thank anyone that's present. Thank you for your service to the country. We've had individuals, lineage of service people to our country, and we regard the country as a jewel. So we do want to preserve not only the country, but even the local communities there. Another item, traffic and roadways. It is a small roadway. It is a small roadway. And our traffic concerns, your traffic concerns will be taken in consideration. We can communicate with VDOT or any other traffic control types of entities that we can communicate with them. I do remember there has been an event, couple of large events in that area, across from the church and across from the farm itself. I don't recall, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, there were no major traffic concerns because there was ample parking. And segueing into parking, we plan, being an environmentalist person myself, I don't believe in paved parking, so I will not have paved grounds. They will be grass parking for any event. Paved parking ruins the water system and all of that, so that has been taken in consideration. And there will not be a huge parking lot, so do not think that there will be like a spaces for 250 parking spaces. That is not within our vision. I want to address a couple of other things. The EV stations, I think they are really there because the vision is that from working with a small business out of Longwood University and other, when you have individuals that do agritourism, many of them have EVs. Fossil fuels, great, that is predominant, but EVs is on the growth. So if they come to an event and have an EV, there's an opportunity to fuel up at the event. That was our plan. It's not to have several, again, hundreds of vehicles traveling around on Shelter Store Road trying to find a parking space or to do anything that's detrimental to the area there. So the parking, I hope I have addressed that. Lighting, evening lighting. The events, if any event is at night, and I think in my proposal, the events at night were going to be for astronomy and viewing. We don't need lights. We need a dark sky. That area has been designated as one of the dark sky areas for the state of Virginia. The plan is not to have continuous lighting 24/7. We're going to have, if we need individual lighting outside lighting, it will only be in operation for the event, set up depending on what time of year and the end. We're not there to pollute the visual environment of the night. Again, it has been designated an area of astronomical darkness, and that's why they hold events at James River State Park in astronomy. We do not have large telescopes. To be honest, the telescope that we currently hold is the telescope that came off of Amazon for $99. It's a good viewing telescope, but it's a start. And if we're to have more, they will not be the large, definitely not a Hubble telescope or anything of that nature. We're really going to be downscale. It's just going to be, it'll be like a learning session, view the sky, look at and learn the history of some of the stories behind the stars in the sky that we look at. Let's see what else. I'm going to address these are my last two items I can see that I need to address. Cost of the project. The cost of the project is funded privately. There is no public entity or other business entity that has invested into this project. It is definitely private family project. Money that's coming into this. If there is a perception or if there's a thought that some other business is behind this project, I will like to clarify that that is an absolute no. It is all coming from members of the family. And I've heard several statements about funding and everything, and I think it's a perception that because we have this farm and we want to do this particular activity there, and again, it's going to be small scale. It's not going to be huge things that we're going to come out with. That there's going to be funding from an outside source. No. There's no funding from anyone outside of the trust that we have established. Finally, I want to address the impact of on the church that's across from our property. I have a deep respect for this establishment and the continuation of the services at that church and the community that it provides. There is nowhere within my personal endeavors or anywhere that I thought this would have an impact, especially a detrimental impact on the church. The church is included as part of the historical part of that community. So definitely, if there was a large event across on the pastors from the church, the church community would be notified if there was any impact on that particular church, on the church itself. I have a legacy with that church. I was thinking about, and again, this was my vision, my project, my background. Hey, there was never a thought of harming any parts of Union Grove Baptist, Missionary Baptist Church, from its origin, from my grandfather, until its presence of today with their current leader. So that is something I need to address, that we have no intentions of having any detrimental impact on that religious facility. Does anyone have another question, or should I cover? I have a couple more points, but I think I wanted to end it with the church.
If you would, yes. Does any of the commissioners have any questions for us? I would suggest, and I'll throw this out, that I know you're only thinking perhaps maybe 5 events to calm the community's nerves. Would you be willing, as a condition, to contact the emergency services in the county just to let them know that you may have that many at the event?
5 events at 250, a max
If
250.
if you're going to have,
Well, I would, it was in my plan that I think there's a statement in there about if we served alcohol or anything, we would be cognizant of that particular event, not to have anyone be in harm's way, not to do that, but also to utilize the Buckingham County Sheriff's Department and their personnel to help us with any of these events.
well, basically, you answered my question, but what I was asking was if you're going to have an event of, say, 5 or 1 that happens during the year, and you think you're going to have 200, 250 people, you plan, I'm asking, would you be comfortable making that a condition that?
Oh, definitely, that's fine with me, safety
That
is-
way the neighbors know that if you know you're going to have an event, the authorities have been notified
I
ahead
have
of time.
no problems with
Okay.
that. I
Thank you.
notify the proper authorities.
All right, yeah,
Is there anyone else with a question?
all right. very good.
Did
Yes,
I
Steve.
address
Have
concerns,
you-
the public? Did I address the public concerns? Public
No,
comment?
I
Just hold
just
this
have
one.
one more question
Go ahead.
about the traffic impact. Has that been cleared up?
Yes, we displayed it, for Doria on the screen. Brian Locker did complete the application for the traffic impact determination. He states, does the existing entrance meet the VDOT requirements for the proposed use? No, and he goes on to say access to each of the 4 parcels, and he lists, his official comment there. And it says that permit issuance for any work is subject to the department review and acceptance of the plan. So the applicant would have to submit VDOT plans for their entryway. But he being Brian Locker, the assistant resident engineer, has been to the location and spoken with the applicant and sent me an email with his findings and.
Okay, I just didn't see where it was signed off.
Yeah,
So
he did an
it's
auto
my
signature.
application, yeah, that's all.
Yeah,
Page 116, I believe.
Okay, I do, thank you.
It's dated November the 6th. Digitally signed, and that was.
Okay.
that's fine.
Ms. C, one of the questions that was asked is your timing, if you were to get approved by the Board of Supervisors and the Planning Commission, when you would like to start your process on this. Do you have a tentative date?
Yes, we have a tentative date, and we're not really going to start anything until like March. It's going to be, so we're given some leeway because all the concerns, conversation I've had with other individuals, like, I want this to be settled and in everyone's mind that this is not a project to harm. It is a project to help and expand that community. So basically, and we're not going to go out there to, next week and have everything set up because that's not even in our strategic plan. So probably in March or whatever, we will start having some events. Again, micro events, not anything that's outside, maybe a normal birthday party at your home.
Okay, thank you. That was a question I had. Any other questions for the commissioners at this time? Ms. C, you can, unless there's something else you want to add, you go ahead and sit down. I'll turn it over to the commission.
And, I do need to, could you instruct me on the road with VDOT? Do I need to contact them, or what's the process there?
At this point, Ms. C, you have done what is required for the application process, and Brian Locker with VDOT has signed off on that application for traffic impact determination. Should your case move forward, and if it were to be approved, before you would be able to even operate any events, your plans for your entryway would need to be submitted to VDOT, signed off on, come back to the county and let us know that they've approved it. As, one of the stipulations, the very first condition in your permit would be to adhere to local, state, and federal guidelines, and that would fall under the state guideline.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you very much.
Thank you, Ms. C. All right, I'll turn this back over for discussion by the Planning Commission. Have any questions or comments? We need to make a decision here, either move this forward to the Board of Supervisors or turn it down.
Chairman, I'd make the motion that we move it ahead to the Board of Supervisors with the one condition that you.
Was added, right, okay. I have a motion to move this on forward with the one added condition. Do I have a second?
A second.
All right, we have a second. Any further discussion? All right, we'll take a vote. That passes with 6-4, 1 abstain, which was, of course, Commissioner Gooden. You'll be moving to the Board of Supervisors, and I forgot the date in January.
January 13th.
13th, thank you. Thank you, Ms. E. Okay, that brings us to public hearing, proposed zoning map amendment, NC1 to Village Center 1, Industrial Park.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Last month, there was a request from the Board of Supervisors for the Planning Commission to consider a zoning map amendment from neighborhood commercial to Village Center on tax map 138, parcel 15 Lot C, which contains just over 125 acres. It is known as the Industrial Park. The public hearing that you're holding today is held for the consideration of that zoning amendment for portions of the industrial park to include the 7.413 acre proposed site for consideration of sale to Central Virginia Christian School, which will allow by right the construction and operation of a private school, and then the northern two-third portion of the industrial park from the current zoning of neighborhood commercial to village center.
Okay. Do we have anyone signed up for the public hearing?
We do. We have 9 individuals signed up to speak this evening.
Okay, I'll now open up the public hearing. Please come forward, state your full name, address. You have 3 minutes.
Our first individual signed up is Ivan Davis Jr. He will be followed by Mark Waldrop.
Thank you. My name is Ivan Davis Jr., live on 106 Whetstone Lane. Our farm adjoins the industrial park property. We received notification on the 5th, I believe, of the hearing tonight, and apologize if I haven't really done my homework too much. But my understanding is that a special committee was appointed by the Board of Supervisors to study and come back with recommendations for the development of the industrial park. Now, I'm 100%, and my family's 100% behind what the Christian school is trying to do. And the Board of Supervisors selling the property is absolutely no problem with us. The thing that is on this, added to that statement is 2/3 of the property will be zoned VC1. Question I have, has the special committee that was appointed by the Board of Supervisors ever met? And have they come back with any kind of recommendation to the board? And if so, what was it? I know you can't answer it, but that's questions we have. And also, too, another question is, it's 2/3 of the property. What 2/3 are we talking about? It's 144 acres. So you do the math, you'll see that could be chewed up all different kinds of ways. So that question is exactly, what is the plan and what is it? And that's questions I think that need to be answered before you can make a decision. But we do endorse, our family does endorse the Christian school. There's no problem there.
Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Mark Waldrop, followed by Alan Leatherwood.
Good evening. Thank you for your time. My name is Mark Waldrop, and I'm at 695 Jericho Road, Buckingham. I'm in District 4. Our request as far as Central Virginia Christian School is concerned is that you approve the rezoning of the property that Central Virginia Christian School purchased to Village Center. That's the only zoning that will allow us to have a private school by right, excuse me. We have no position on what happens to the rest of the 120 whatever acres that have been discussed. We're only interested in the Christian school. About 15 years ago, Central Virginia Christian School purchased the land for our present campus from the county. And we have been good neighbors, and we've tried to give back to the county by preparing the young men and young women to be good Christians and also to be good citizens of our county. And now we want to enlarge our school. We want to add 1 class a year to the lower school, and we want to add a high school so that Central Virginia Christian School can continue to be an even greater blessing to both the students and the families of the students who attend CVCS, and also to the entire county. Again, we don't have a position on the rezoning of the rest of the industrial park, just on the acreage that the Board of Supervisors graciously agreed to sell to us for our expansion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Alan Leatherwood, followed by Dennis Carney.
Good evening. Alan Leatherwood. I live at 71 LeSueur Street in the town of Dillon. That's in District 2. I'm here tonight to ask that the Planning Commission not approve the rezoning as it's written. I fully support the Christian school and their rezoning application for the parcel that they need, but rezoning the remaining, or the northern 2/3 or front 2/3 or ever how it's written is ambiguous, and I don't know that we need it. Mr. Davis mentioned the Economic Development Committee. I was a member of that committee. We've not met, I believe it was September of last year was the last time that we met. And we did not come to any, we were working, trying to come up with solutions. We did not come up with any. I think that is something that needs to be further explored. You know, this piece of land I know was purchased by the county from Mr. Davis about 30 years ago, I think. And, you know, like I said, I'm fully support developing this property properly. I don't know that developing it or changing the zoning from NC1 to VC1 will do that. It will allow, then it takes away any rights of any neighbors that they may have to object, or for the county to have any real say-so in something that's by right allowed by VC1. So it may not be something that you need. It may not be something that's compatible with the current zoning or the current development that's there. So again, I fully support the rezoning the parcel for the county, for the Christian school. Fully support that 100%. But the remaining, the way it's written, I do not support, and I ask that you not support this and not recommend this to the Board of Supervisors as it's written. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Dennis Carney, and then Wes Saxon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. I was, a long time ago, the first planner for the county. I don't count somebody if they didn't last 2 months, so. I am as I said, the zoning administrator, planning consultant for Dillon. I did want to point out that under state law, I believe the town was supposed to have gotten a letter about this because you were within the distance involved. We're adjacent. I think our main concern is that with the commercial uses that could come in under the village district, that possibly a buffer would be required if they had to do it on a case-by-case basis. I'm not sure what new roads would have to be placed in the development. Probably not, but you might need to do some type of VDOT review. What effect those uses would have on existing houses is something you need to be looking at. Economic development is a very hard thing. I've seen this project. It actually began as an industrial park, probably when I was the planning director for the county. We really don't have any industrial uses now in that whole area, and we don't have a lot in the county other than what we had already, and we've thrown a lot of them away. And I'm speaking for myself on that, not for the town. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Would you state your address, sir, for the record?
626 Francisco Road, Dillon.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, a long way from the actual town, but
Wes Saxon, and then Karen Frable Moss.
Good evening. I'm Wes Saxon, 13265 West James Anderson Highway, just a hop, skip, and a jump away from here. I urge you all to split this proposal, approve the Christian school, and do not approve the rest of the industrial park rezoning. A lot of talk went into this a couple of years ago. There are a whole lot of questions have not been answered. The question on economic development came to the forefront very easily the other night when one of my friends asked me, what is there to keep youth and young adults in Buckingham? I didn't have an answer for him. I think we need to look at what can be done with that industrial park and have opportunities so we keep and attract youth and young adults into Buckingham. That's it. I mean, it's too early to rezone the whole industrial park. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Karen Frable Moss, and then Alicia Freeman.
Thank you all for hearing me. My name's Karen Frable Moss, and I live at 328 LeSueur Street. I'm also the mayor of the town of Dillwyn. And speaking to the different people that live in the town, there's a lot of concern because we went through this the last time, and that was just a hot mess, and we never did get any real answers. We have no problem with the Christian school. You know, we would welcome them. But to open this up to BC1 Industrial Park is, you know, without the town or the county even having people to come in and have an opportunity to say, no, this isn't what we want, or, yeah, we think this is good. It's difficult, and you all are in a difficult position, and I appreciate that. The people on LeSueur Street that are against that property would also like that I ask if the Planning Commission and the county would consider selling each person that property backs up to those woods that you all are talking about trying to do something with, at least an acre of land. We don't want you to give it to us, that we would buy it. But, you know, that we think that would give us a buffer, because the last time they came in there and they did all of the surveying, and they were going to put the road right in behind our house. And, you know, my husband's been in that house 51 years, and that's a long time. And then all of a sudden, there's a road right behind you. I also work in the school system. And, you know, if we develop that, and I'm all for developing it, you know, the county needs the economic development. I don't have any problem with that. But if we develop that, we may make tax money off of it, but the tax money is going to have to go into making new roads to support any kind of increased traffic through there. Your school systems are already busting at the seam, which if you brought more families in and more children, the county would have to look at a way to try to help enlarge those schools to accommodate. So I'm just asking that you consider the sale of an acre of land to each person that's interested in the property that backs up, and that you really consider the rezoning of BC1 and consider more of the Christian school and less of that. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Alicia Freeman and Brandy Waycaster.
My name is Alicia Freeman. I'm at 402 Solitude Road, Buckingham, and that's District 4. I am a second grade teacher and parent to CVCS students. I just wanted to speak tonight because I believe in our school and our mission to equip students and impact the world with Christian character and leadership skills. The administration, teachers, and students are all thankful for the opportunities offered CVCS with the special use permit and the recent vote to sell us this parcel of land for our expansion of the high school. It is our hope that it would be rezoned as Village Center and rewritten to separate the additional property to include only our parcel for this Village Center. A high school offers employers a pool of skilled workers and new business owners. In addition to this, we offer a unique internship program at CVCS. This internship program is a good example of how CVCS can partner with businesses in the county. I believe this land originally was zoned industrial for the goal of attracting industrial business to Buckingham County. And our investment in our student body may be different from the original goal. However, we can still have a positive impact on the prosperity and economic success of this community. Although CVCS currently operates with an SUP, we're asking for the security and knowing the land will support a school permanently as Village Center. The CVCS family would appreciate your decision to rezone this parcel of land as Village Center so that our students can continue to live out our mission with certainty that the county supports our long-term goals. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next, we have Randy Waycaster, and the last individual signed up will be Brian Davis.
Good evening, Commission. Randy Waycaster. I reside in the 2nd District at 4597 Bell Road. First, I'd like to thank Mr. Davis and the Board of Supervisors for their unanimous support of the sale of the 7.41 acres to the Christian school. It's a small portion of the industrial park property. I think it'll make a large impact on the growing future of the CVCS school, as well as a positive impact on our community down the road. It's one of many key steps the school will be facing towards building a high school, and also as they desire to double their pre-K through eighth grade student capacity over the next several years. But another vital step is what we're asking for your support of tonight, is to consider the 7.41 acres as its own vote and to transfer that to a VC1 zone. That's the only zone that allows them to, by right, expressly have a school on the property without special use permit and other things along with it. This Christian school has been a school for 20 years and has been at that location for 15 years. I think they've had a tremendous impact. It's wonderful to see the full support of everybody speaking tonight on behalf of the school, along with their concerns for the industrial park portion. Again, I want to be neutral on that. I don't see a need in changing that if there's not something actively pursuing it, but our desire is to see the school's property solely rezoned as VC1. It's the only zone that will allow them the right, without a special use permit, to have a school. They're a school that's been there for 20 years. They're going to build a school. It's the only zone that allows them to have a school. It just makes simple sense to me to just zone it one piece for them and move on. And I think it will save y'all some time down the road as far as not having to go through more meetings and time for the special use permit process as well. Thank you for all your time and service to the community.
Thank you, sir.
Brian Davis.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Brian Davis. My address is 10035 West James Anderson Highway, Buckingham. I'm going to try not to repeat everything that everyone else said, but it's the same concerns. As a parent, I have 3 kids at CVCS. I 100% support that school. I love that school and know the positive impact that school has made in our community, and would very much ask that you support that rezoning to VC1 for that 7.4 acres. As a local resident and a business owner, I own Thomas Insurance in Dillwyn. I have great concern about such a large rezoning of that property. I too, as a business owner, like to see growth and good things happen, but it seems as though it relinquishes a lot of control for the future. With all that said, I'm not in favor of the rezoning of that part, 100% in favor for the school. I have to ask why that rezoning of such a large portion is even part of this. It seems unrelated. It begs the question as a citizen of, is there something in the works that I don't know about? Where's the transparency? Is it something that's so unpopular that the rezoning has to happen this way, attached to a Christian school? So in closing, I just ask that you, and am thankful for what the Board of Supervisors has done to support our school and what you all have done in the past. I thank you for that and just ask you to keep these things in mind. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, I'll close the public hearing. That was the last speaker, correct? Okay. Bring it over to the commission. I would like to take the opportunity to divide this application into two parts. I think it certainly makes sense to do that. We'll first address changing the zoning for the school to consummate the deal that the Board of Supervisors has put together. And yes, Nikki.
Mr. Chairman, I've received an email from Commissioner Kapuscinski, who's unable to be here this evening due to just an inability to make it, and he's always very dedicated, can't even call in today.
Okay.
But he did wish for, when it came time for discussion amongst the Planning Commission, for his comments to be read and committed to the minutes of the meeting.
Okay,
Let me know when that's-
I had planned to give a summary of what he said because, of course, I was addressed, but let's for the record, go ahead and read it. It's not that lengthy, so,
Do it now?
yes.
Okay. And it is written to John, Chairman Bickford, and members of the Planning Commission. I am truly sorry that I will not be able to attend inasmuch as I am in surgery today. As a result, I am asking you to ensure my comments are read into the record as a part of our meeting on December 16th, specifically as they relate to the upcoming discussion and vote on the proposed bundle request to change the zoning for the commercial industrial property in Dillwyn. First and foremost, inasmuch as the county has agreed to sell some 7.4 acres to the school, as it relates to the request to change the zoning for that land, I can see no reason to disagree. However, I strongly disagree with the county proposal to bundle this request with a request to change the zoning for another 70 plus or minus acres on that site. The issues are completely separate and should be handled separately. You will recall that we did have an economic development committee before the last supervisor election for Buckingham, and the participants were actively looking to investigate a number of commercial ideas for that land. You will also recall that the committee was somehow disbanded after the last supervisor election, and in spite of my asking the board to reconstitute it, and having asked my own supervisor why he would not move ahead with a motion to have the committee reconvene, I received no response. Not long ago, the board tried selling that land to a developer for housing projects with a promise that there would also be some businesses that would locate there. That proposal was never approved by the residents, and in fact, it created a firestorm. As a result, the developer walked away from his project proposal, and it cost the county taxpayers some $180,000 to settle with the developer. I am asking the commission to help avoid a replay of that situation. The land belongs to the county taxpayers and residents. It does not belong to the board, the commission, or any one person or group of people in our county administration. The residents and taxpayers in the county have already demanded that we use that land for commercial development, and further that the county should investigate to the fullest possible extent using that land for commercial purposes before settling on any other use for it. To that end, I would like to suggest that the commission consider a vote to do the following. 1. Vote in favor of handling the proposal set before the commission regarding the bundled rezoning request in two different proposals. The first, addressing the school's request for rezoning the 7.4 acres that they just purchased from the county. The second, addressing any other rezoning proposals for that site. 2, I would fully support a motion by the commission to approve only the rezoning for the 7.4 acres sold to the school. 3, I would fully support a motion by the commission to turn down any other zoning changes to that property with the following provisions. A, the Economic Development Committee must be reconvened and allowed to discuss ideas for commercial development of that property. B, commercial ideas brought forward by the EDC are to be fully investigated and commented upon, and even possibly brought to the board. C, if and only if the EDC cannot find suitable ideas to move ahead with a commercial solution for that site within the next 18 months, then and only then, it should be turned back over to the voters to decide if zoning should be changed to allow residential development for that land. D, if the land is opened up for sale for other than commercial development, the bidding process should be made public and be fully transparent for the residents of the county to observe, and there should be monthly updates on the progress made for the sale of the property at board meetings to keep the residents and taxpayers in Buckingham fully informed. Anything less than this risks another uprising in our community. There are still folks around who are angry about the settlement with the developer the last time the issue arose, and as a taxpayer, resident, and even now as a county employee, I am reticent to do anything that would risk a replay of the situation we went through last time. Again, I apologize for being wordy, but I feel strongly enough about this subject to take up your time and the time of our other commissioners to ensure that they know at least this commissioner's view. Thanks, and again, I apologize for not being able to be with you all tonight. Please ensure the other commissioners are aware of my comments, and these comments are an official part of the December Planning Commission minutes. Sincerely, Pete Kapuscinski, Buckingham Planning Commissioner, District 3.
Okay. Thank you, Nick. I had talked to Pete several conversations and in regards to the rezoning of the school as well as the industrial park, but he summed it up there in his letter. Again, what I'd like to do is separate the two, make it two different applications, and we'll address the one first would be for the changing of the zoning for the school. And that would be to consummate the deal that the Board of Supervisors have already put together. So with that, I'll open it up for discussion, or if you feel comfortable, motion.
I'm all for splitting it. I would make a motion that we go ahead and recommend the rezoning for the school.
For the school, okay. We have a motion?
I second that.
We have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote. We all right, Jamie? Okay, take a vote. All right, that passes unanimously. So that takes care of part one. Part two is the discussion and decision made on rezoning the 2/3, roughly 70 acres or so of the industrial park to change it from NC1 to VC1. I'm gonna offer, because Pete and I talked about this, and offer a suggestion, which follows the information in Pete's letter, that rather than making this, give you 2 lanes to go, rather than making a decision to change tonight, we take a year or 18 months, reconstitute the committee, Economic Development Committee, which I was on, as well as Pete, either in part or all, and come up with some more strategies or possible uses for the industrial park as NC1. And then formally, anything that we do come up, we had some suggestions before in the committee. I think we could look at, narrow those down, and then, you know, as far as I know, the industrial park has really never been thoroughly advertised. And I think it would be smart to try to do that first before we change the zoning on it, to try to bring businesses in, to hopefully boost our work possibilities or for the communities in the county. Now, that's just a suggestion. The Board of Supervisors has asked us to move to change the zoning to VC1. So you've got 2 thoughts there. So now I'm going to open up to the commissioners and for discussion. What is the choice of the supervisors, or your opinions? I guess I'm asking for now. Anyone have anything they want to add? Again, you got two choices here. Delay and, or either go ahead and move to change.
After hearing from the community that lives around the property, I don't have a problem with your first option that you made, that we send it back.
Okay.
Economic committee back together and let them work on it for the next year, or whatever we have to do to.
I think it
If
would.
they don't come up with any solutions,
Right.
then we can readdress this later.
Exactly. I think my suggestion would be give a year to the end of 2025, say this time next year, and see where the committee has gone, see where the, what kind of suggestions they come up with, and, try to come up with a package to advertise it. And if we haven't had any success, or if we are getting at least some attention, then you may be able to extend it. It may make sense to extend it. If not, it may not. In the interim, though, if someone were to come, an applicant and want to change, require a need to change the industrial park, we can address it at that time.
For a special use permit.
Yep, yeah. How about other commissioners? Do I have any?
I'm in agreement with that.
Okay.
I am also.
All right. Does anybody, if that's a consensus, do I have a motion to proceed with reconstituting the Economic Development Commission and giving us 1 year to come up with some possible alternatives and perhaps even advertising?
Is that our recommendation to the board?
That would be our recommendation to the board, rather than moving it to change to VC1.
I'd like to make that motion.
Second.
All right. Any further discussion?
Before, and I apologize, I
Yes.
don't mean to interrupt disrespectfully. I just need to make sure I understand the motion. The board has tasked the planning commission with their recommendation after a public hearing. So the recommendation or the motion this evening is to recommend denying or disapproving the zoning map amendment, which they asked you to do, and then you'd like to submit further notes to the board asking them to reconstitute the Economic Development Committee?
That's what we haven't voted yet, but that was what the motion was for. Do you need a separate motion to say we are denying? If it is, it would have to follow our decision to move to.
I'm not sure that it meets the Board of Supervisors' request from the Planning Commission. They did ask for a decision
Right.
for the recommendation
I
specifically.
guess what I'm saying is if we don't approve the alternative that I have suggested and Peter has suggested, then we will have to go back and take a vote about changing the zoning. So if you need 2 votes, we'll vote on the alternative. If that passes, then we'll take the vote on.
I would do exactly that so that it's clear measures that need to be
Right.
given back to the board for recommendations.
Right, okay. All right, does everyone understand what they're voting on before we take the vote?
We're voting on a recommendation first, right?
No, we're voting on the alternative to not change the zoning, reconstitute the committee in part or whole, and give a year to come up with some, hopefully some ideas and maybe even advertise. If that passes, then we will have to take the vote.
Vote to deny
Right.
the.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right, so any further discussion before we vote on that? Seeing none, we'll vote then. Okay, that passes unanimously. Commission has recommended we do a study and continue for a year. All right, now, how do we frame this motion, Nikki? Just say we are rejecting, or?
So the request was to consider zoning.
Okay.
We held the introduction, a public hearing was held, so the request for consideration of a zoning map amendment, someone needs to make a motion,
To deny.
whatever that motion's gonna be for the board. So whatever happens with that recommendation as the task was given, I will let them know what those results are, along with your other recommendation for an alternative solution.
Okay.
Okay, so,
So I need a motion from the committee to deny changing the zoning from NC1 to VC1 at this time, as was recommended from recommended from the Board of Supervisors.
I'll make that motion.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll vote as soon as Jamie has it ready. All right, that,
I voted wrong.
Jamie, you could correct that and say it's unanimous?
Yes.
so Commissioner Cruz, just state what your vote should, if you,
My vote should be yes.
thank you.
Okay, that would make it unanimous then. All right, very good. Okay, that concludes our business for the regular planning commission meeting. We'll now, anybody want a 10-minute break?
Yes.
Yes, we're gonna take a 10-minute break and then go into work session.
That is, yes, 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 yes.
That's the way to do that. I don't think we turn that thing over to a VC1. Good, that was great.
Oh, it was gonna get ugly. It was gonna get ugly. Tyler, come to the front and take over the meeting, sir.
All right, good evening. So I just have two sections, and they're both pretty short to present. I don't have much to speak on them, but the first section, the implementation plan, that was actually done by Kristen, the executive director of the CRC that was here last meeting. Basically, it seems like she took the implementation plan that was in the plan from the last comprehensive plan and just made a few changes. But the idea is that the implementation plan outlines the actionable steps needed to achieve the goals of the comprehensive plan. It emphasizes collaboration between departments and regular review to ensure the plan remains relevant. The key focus areas include using the plan to guide budget decisions, reviewing and updating the plan regularly, and aligning growth with infrastructure and preserving Buckingham's rural character. And that's pretty much the overview that I have, so just kind of leaving it open and up to you all if you have any questions, comments, concerns after having taken a look through it.
Right. And everything, this is a summation of everything. You've got to, if we don't make any revisions tonight, it'll go right on to the Board of Supervisors, correct, if we pass it?
So on the schedule that we have, we're actually supposed to do a overview of the entire plan in one meeting and kind of give just a high level overview of each section and go through the entire plan if that's still considered necessary. But yeah, after this is technically the last section of the plan, and then we would start talking about scheduling the public hearings and moving it forward.
Okay.
And then, so there's also just the executive summary, and that just kind of breaks it down. It is a brief summary of the entire plan, but just kind of goes over the vision, the different priorities, and some highlights by section, and then some of the key recommendations.
Any of the commissioners, have they caught anything they need questions on or need a change on?
Packet here, it goes from section 6 to section 8. And that might just be what we're looking at here. Is there section 7?
I believe that this implementation plan should be section 7 because special policy areas are section 6. Land use is section 5, I believe. But yeah, that's something we can double check to make sure the sections are ordered correctly.
I think it was 7 in the old comprehensive plan. Looks like it was.
Yeah, and this section is one that Kristen worked on, so I can double check with her to see if she changed it. But yeah, we'll definitely, that's one thing that kind of going and doing an overview of the whole plan for the next meeting, I would go back and make sure all the formatting's consistent across sections and kind of get it all put together now that we've had a chance to review all the different sections that we've proposed. So that would fall in line with the schedule that we have is for next meeting to go over and provide, kind of a finalized copy of all sections put together, looking through typos and grammar errors and formatting consistency. And then from that point on, we would be, because one thing with the public hearings is you have to advertise for the public hearings and get it in the paper and have it, available for enough time. And then we would be looking probably at a February time period for holding the public hearings. And with that, there's also another decision to make is if you want to do a joint public hearing with the Board of Supervisors and the Planning Commission together to try to do it all in one meeting, or if you want to do two separate public hearings, one with the Planning Commission, one with the Board of Supervisors.
Well, if I recall in the previous ones that I was involved in, we sent sections to the Board of Supervisors for their review and to see if they had some changes. And then we would either hold a separate public hearing or a joint one to try to move things forward. So I guess my question is, would it make sense to go ahead and move, if not the whole thing, all the sections, at least 3 or 4 or something to them at this time so they can be reviewing it and see? It's very well possible they may pick up something we didn't want to change something, and it would then come back to us for acceptance or whatever. So,
I mean, that would be okay with me.
do you have a suggestion on how many sections you would like to send forward?
I mean, I think we can pretty much send them all. If there are no suggestions for changes for this implementation plan or the executive summary, then we've reviewed all the sections, and I think we would be okay with, passing it on to them to see if they catch anything.
Right.
Just one thing that, my supervisor was trying to make sure that I covered was the, need for the advertisement time for the public hearing, and make sure that we give ourselves enough time for that to occur before we actually hold the public hearing.
Yeah, I was just thinking that's how we handled it before, and worked pretty well to try to synchronize with the Board of Supervisors and get their input before we had a public hearing. So if we needed to change something, it didn't get as complicated, I guess is the best way to put it. So, Dennis, how many sections would you like to look at one time?
I don't know if we're pretty confident that this is here. Why couldn't we forward it all on over to the Board of Supervisors? That way, if the Board of Supervisors have any recommendations,
Okay, I mean, if you feel like
speed the process up a little bit. I mean, and
I have no problem doing that as long as you feel like the board feels comfortable with that.
Well,
It certainly would speed the process up if we did it all.
right. I mean, I feel like that been dragging this on long enough. I mean, it's
Okay.
time to go with it.
All right, I have no problem
Board
with that.
got any recommendations? Then it'll come, it's gotta be passed by the Board of Supervisors anyway, so.
Right. All right.
So just from kind of our side of things, so you all would pass the sections on to the Board of Supervisors, and then they would let you all know if they have anything that needs to be
Correct.
changed, and then you all would let us know if we need to make any changes, and that would be before the public hearing occurs?
Yeah, and at that point, say the Board of Supervisors only had minor changes or none whatsoever, I guess it would be up to both the Board of Supervisors and Planning Commission, but we could at that time then have a joint public hearing, and that would expedite it by a month or so. So I'd say let's at least get everything to them, see if they have any major changes. If they don't, I think we can maybe make it work with if everybody's in agreement with that.
And then in terms of scheduling the public hearings, is that something that the county takes care of, or?
Well, it would be, let's see,
Actually,
we're in December, so it would not be addressed by the Board of Supervisors till January.
Right, everything would be presented to them in January.
Probably decision couldn't be made by them until February, more than likely, or
If they're just receiving it a week before, they may want to look at it, then
Yeah.
February, bring it back to the table, ask to hold a public hearing in March.
yeah.
Yeah, March would be probably the earliest.
I
that
would,
we
Right.
do it.
yeah,
But the good thing is we're doing
yes.
the whole comprehensive plan at one public hearing, whereas before it's been sections at a time.
Bill
That
will
is what we
set-
did before.
Motion, I would say 4 months earlier than,
Yeah. All right, well, if no one has changes, hasn't found anything that they want to change, then I guess what we're looking for is a motion to approve as we have here.
My only suggestion, Mr. Chairman, would be just a cohesive font. I see there's times New Roman in some sections. I mean, that's just a presentation thing. And then, a good table of contents for us, again, so we can clear up that section numbering, just to make sure that's accurate. But
Do you want to see that back to us
Yeah.
before it goes? Okay. We'll see it again anyway.
Right.
Either if the board makes changes or before the public hearing. So we will see any of the modifications. It's only minor stuff anyways, really cleaning up. So, okay. Any other things from the commissioner as far as making a change or needing something revised?
Chairman,
Yes, yes, ma'am.
we are now in a work session, not in a regular meeting. Would we be able to make a motion and take any action in a work session?
Probably put us to January before we could send it over to the board.
Yeah. Well,
We could at least have all the, formatting things and have it in a presentable way in
why
January.
don't we do that? Make the changes, it'll come to us, but go on to the Board of Supervisors in January, because they're not gonna be able to make a recommendation until February anyway.
I can let them know that it's come out of the work session and the planning commission feels that it's exactly where it needs to be and all edits have been made. Please take this time to review this and you'll have a formal
Yeah.
recommendation from the planning commission at their January meeting. Does that sound okay?
In the process, see if the board, majority wants to have a, dual,
Joint meeting.
joint meeting on it.
It'll still keep us and give them a chance to review
Yes,
it a bit longer
correct.
too, so it's still a
Yeah.
good opportunity
Yeah.
for the board to see it.
Okay, very good.
No, we said okay when you have joint. So what night we decide to do it on, planning commission night or board of supervisor night? Whether you give your chair up or not, Calvin, okay? That answer your question?
I take it no commissioners have anything that jumps out at them right at this time?
I'm good with it.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve as it is presented? I don't know.
Can't do
We
that
really don't
neither,
need a
right?
motion.
Because it's a work session.
Yeah, it's a work session, yeah. Never mind.
Sounds
I like to express my authority.
I know you want to send it on, Johnny, but we gotta wait a little bit.
Tyler, thank you. If you would make those changes,
Yeah.
get them to Nikki, she'll get them to us
Yep.
for January.
All right.
Hopefully we can expedite this thing a little quicker then.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right. Nikki, that brings us to your building permits report and zone administrator report.
So this evening, since it's our last meeting of December 2024, I have included those wonderful things that everybody loves to take a look at, and those are going to be your bylaws as they were adopted 2024, and changes were made in March, and so this is your final 2024 bylaws. Please take a look at them. If there's anything else that needs to be discussed in January when we move forward, please bring those things up. We have included a code of conduct and a code of ethics. And I do believe that I owe Commissioner Kapuscinski a statement, and I could not find the correct verbiage, even looking back through the minutes, but I will be bringing that to our January meeting. This is just, gives us a little bit more time to review these items along with the 2025 calendar for work sessions and, I can hardly believe that we have come through another year of meetings. It's always exciting and adventurous. I do appreciate everyone's commitment to the meetings, the work sessions, the cases, the discussions, and I appreciate the ability to be able to work with each of you on these monthly basis and any other time that you need me. So I appreciate you all very much. I look forward to everyone hanging in here for a wonderful 2025 as well, and I hope you all have a great Christmas. Hope Santa's good to all of you, and a good, safe, happy New Year as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Nick. Commission matters and concern. Any commissioners have anything they want to voice at this time? All right, I'd like to piggyback on Nikki and just say I hope everyone has a great Christmas and Happy New Year. With that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. I know we don't have any discussion, so we'll just vote.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
Before we go, I'm gonna vote, but couldn't we do more of these joint meetings? I was looking at the planning commission schedule for 2025. And right now, we got December the 22nd, and you know ain't none of us wanna be here December the 22nd.
And you know that if you're on this planning commission next year, I will diligently bring up in September how those holiday meetings fall. I will say this, in years past, we probably have held, we being the Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors, have held more joint meetings. A number of years ago, there was a comment made that there would be no more of those. I think that may be in relation to certain cases that were held. Certainly, as the Planning Commission, you have the ability to decide if you'd like to, request the Board of Supervisors for the meetings. I mean, they can turn you down or take you up on it, but the
Well,
request
I'm just
could
looking
be
at
made.
us with the work sessions and the
Oh, do you
thing.
mean for the Planning Commission, like
Planning
combine
Commission,
them?
like, I mean,
That's up to y'all.
December the 15th and December the 22nd. I mean, that's,
The bylaw state a work session and a meeting, so that's why I just took the responsible portion of this and made the calendar, but y'all have the ability to, if you'd like to combine those, then it's just
and true,
one
when
night
I
and
first
not
came
two.
onto the board of supervisors, we had a lot of joint meetings with the planning commission, and we haven't had none in a while.
It used to be a pretty regular occurrence on, putting on the application to try to expedite it, to get it on faster, so may circle back to that.
That was just a question. All right, I vote to adjourn. Let's go.
Okay. That was unanimous. We are adjourned. Thank everyone.